have any questions? You usually just made 4th Street. I could do that. He would do the PDF. And then does it crash? It would go away. I don't know, sometimes it would go away. You can just, it's fine like that. Oh,
meeting will come to order. This is a meeting of the Littlestown Area Board of School Directors. This is a meeting of the board taking place in the public in accordance with the Sunshine Act. District residents who wish to address the board are required to sign up to provide public comment at least 5 minutes prior to the start of the meeting. Public participation will occur only during the designated public comment portion of the agenda. Disruptions, interruptions, outbursts, or other disorderly conduct of any kind will not be tolerated. By attending and or commenting publicly in this meeting, you are consenting to the district's recording, retention, and future viewing of this meeting. This meeting is also being live streamed as a convenience to the public. In the event the live stream fails or cannot be transmitted for any reason, the in-person meeting will continue without interruption. Mr. Shoemaker, would you please call the roll?
Dwayne Sullivan. Here. Janelle Ressler.
Here.
Donna Bayless.
Here.
Nick Lovell.
Here.
Bill Arnold. Here. Stephen Yerger. Here. Joseph Yelp. Here. Jeannie Ewan.
Here.
And Alan Cole.
Here.
All present.
You stay up with
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
All right. Are there any board acknowledgements or announcements?
It's kind of hard with school not in.
Yeah, I mean, the sports for the fall, they've had some like workouts and stuff going on, junior high and varsity level. But yeah, I don't think there's a lot going on right now.
We're in summer mode. All right. Okay, we don't have any principal reports this month either because I guess we're in summer mode as well. So right along to public comment. We now recognize members of the public who sign up to provide public comment as stipulated in policy 903. When your name is called, please approach the podium and state your name, confirm you are a resident or taxpayer in the district, and your topic of discussion for the record. Public comment is limited to matters of district business only. Comments that are not relevant to district business that is or may be before the board will be suspended. All comments shall be directed to the board as a whole, not to individual board members or administrators, and public comments will be limited to 5 minutes or less. Privilege to speak may be interrupted, revoked, or a recess of the meeting may be called by the chair if the speaker fails to adhere to board policy or does not observe reasonable decorum and orderly conduct. Thank you. First speaker is Lisa Rummel.
Hello. For anybody that's here tonight or watching, you do not know me. I am Mrs. Rummel. I am the current LPN of the district. I was 13 years at the high school, 3 years at Maple Avenue recently. I'm going to try to read this as fast as I can. I'm representing Nurse Ida Bushless from Boyd Creek and myself. Before you vote to eliminate the LPN position at ACES, please consider the facts that I have for you. We do not have a large list of sub-nurses. One nurse was just hired, probably has a full-time job, most of them do, and they work on their days off, or maybe they're just working part-time. But a lot of times they can't even give us a day here, day there. That's one. Another nurse helps most Wednesdays last year, but she's finishing schooling also, and I'm going to guess that she won't be with us full-time down the road either. Another nurse is finishing his schooling to go back to school for a different medical career. He was very limited last year when there was only 2 of us running 3 buildings. The merge of grades 6 through 12 should not be used as the excuse to eliminate the LPN position at ACES. It has been open for over a year due to nobody working for that salary. We asked, and you graciously helped us give some more dollars to the salary to hope and entice someone. We still have not been able to entice anyone else to come in. It's been over a year, and we are struggling. And we're going to open up the school year struggling, unfortunately, again, possibly. We still have the same amount of students to see, to treat, multiple daily medications. We have 9 current diabetic students in grades 6 through 12, and it could rise if we have any more that we go to the district. They take extra time to see, and we have several special needs classes at Alloy Creek, with another one starting as far as autism. We also have much data entry, paperwork, health screenings, student care, and other responsibilities that are usually unnoticed and unseen that we do behind the scenes. Could you please reevaluate the need to eliminate the LPN position after next school year is completed? It could be a very stressful year or two for students and staff with this merger, and it could increase our visits with children having anxiety, upset stomachs, headaches, and everything else that we see when the students are stressed, and staff. There is a chance that the nurse, the RN here at Alloy Creek, may not start the school year. She may not come back. We don't know. And so trying to be proactive, having that LPN position there would help if we could get somebody to take the position. If we don't, we're starting the school year out potentially with 2 nurses again. It would be the nurse Costello at the high school doing 6 through 12 on her end, and probably me doing Alloy Creek, K through 5 on my end. Last year was the most stressful year of my 16 years being here. Worrying about trying to see the students and staff because we were so short-staffed, and we did not have a bunch of sub-nurses that could come in and help us. If this happens, and Nurse Costello and myself fall ill or injured, or possibly take a day off that we deserve, the district may be faced with doing a fit day or a closing because we don't have the proper nursing. Unfortunately, we do have to follow very strict rules. We have to have 1 RN for with her CSN for 1,500 students. That might seem like a lot, but that law was built in 1949. It's a little outdated. The state has tried to increase support for the nurses, but it gets stuck somewhere in government. Nurses are the only ones that can give medication in school. No one else can give this medication. EpiPens and asthma attacks are the only 2 things, because their medicine is life-threatening, that someone in the school could give if the nurse is not there. We may also need to implement a 1 field trip per day per the entire district if we do not have enough staff. If we only have 2 RNs, one at Alloy Creek and one at the high school, you are left with the current LPN having to go on the field trip if it's medically needed. Some of the field trips may be canceled if we don't have the staff, and unfortunately we got seriously close to that last year. The LPN position at ACES is crucial to ensure the safety and the effective care for students and staff district-wide. Running 1 LPN between K through 5 and 6 through 12 results in lack of continuity of care, the nurse knowing the students and their issues, getting the things done at the high school versus the elementary school. And the need ultimately can burn out a nurse faster.
Mrs. Rummel.
Yes. Thank you.
The next speaker is Bradley Kiefer.
Good evening, my name is Brad Kiefer. I'm a taxpayer and parent in the district. Of course, I've been at this podium before. I've proposed specific cuts. They are in the public record. None of them have moved forward. I'm not here to relitigate that. I'm here to say that the absence of action has a cost, and that cost is now visible in tonight's numbers. Let me start with where I stand. I am for ACTI. I am for Dr. Berryman, and I am for this district. What I cannot support is making multi-year financial commitments without a multi-year financial plan, and tonight this board is doing exactly that 3 times in the same meeting. Tonight's resolution authorizes a $44.8 million in spending budget at a 2% tax increase. That's about $363,000 in new revenue. After applying that to the deficit, the projected unassigned fund balance is $1.05 million, 2.3% of budget expenditures. Board Policy 620 requires 5%. That floor, $2.24 million. For those who struggle with math, 2.24 minus 1.05 is about 1.2. I'm reading the policy directly. It doesn't say we're going to try. It says the board will pursue options to increase revenue and decrease expenditures until 5% is attained. So here's my question, and I'd like you all to put it on the record. Where is the written plan required by Board Policy 620 to return the unassigned fund balance to 5%? The district's own projections show the deficit growing every year. Even if you include a 2.5% tax increase every year, which the public will freak out about, the deficit still reaches 3.2, then 4.1, and none of that includes ACTI. The district's own audited financial estimates show that we're projected that after this building is up and running, $480,000 to $600,000 per year. Where's that money coming from? Let that land for a little bit. Think about it. The entire 2% tax increase, $363K, is only a little over half of what it needs, or what we're going to need for ACTI. And that doesn't include all of the other things that are going to increase in costs. So you're voting yes on a land that starts the clock tonight with no model showing how you're going to pay for it if we actually build a building. Every year you enter with a lower fund balance and next year's hole gets deeper and deeper. So how do we solve it? We keep citing every year we under forecast revenue. We end with a surplus. Well, every year the pattern is the same. But the kids need it. They needed a basement. They needed this sport thing. They needed this other thing. And every year we spend the money that we transfer as surplus out of the capital reserve, and now all of a sudden, here we are. Think about it like this. For those who actually run a budget in your house, your family spends more money than you earn every month. Some years, you sell land, you sell a used car, something happens. So instead of rebuilding your savings with that money, you spend it because my kids want a finished basement. My kids want to go on this vacation. Well, that's what this district has done, and here we are, running out of money. So, where's the 3-year plan? Tonight you're going to vote on a superintendent 4-year contract that locks you in without a plan to actually show how you're going to pay for that increase. You're going to vote for land that comes with $480,000 to $600,000 in more bond payments. Where is that going to come from? And tonight this board is going to vote on a budget that violates its own policy without documented recovery. So how do you sign a 4-year contract with no plan? How do you vote yes on the land with a building cost that isn't in a plan? And how do you adopt a budget that violates your own policy? I'm not leaving with offering up something. The board can vote tonight. You can freeze Act 93 administrator salaries. It's different from the CBA. You have an ability to actually freeze that without the same notice period. And I would also ask you to talk to your solicitor about Pennsylvania's financial hardship provisions. Perhaps we qualify for it, which will allow for a broader salary freeze. Again, not a lawyer, that's what you pay him for. So you say governance is your job. Part of governance means having a plan before you make commitments. It means modeling what you can afford before you sign, and it means doing the hard thing, which is saying no to the cool thing that the students need. I've proposed cuts, they sit in record, unacted on. I'm asking this board to do better than that tonight. One question on the record before you vote. Where is your written plan required by your own policy to return the unassigned fund balance to 5%? Thank you.
All right, we are pleased to have with us this evening a few special guests from the Adams County Technical Institute. Mr. Sean Eckenrode, the current and outgoing director, as well as Dr. Tony Payne, the incoming director, and their superintendent of record, Dr. Sharon Perry from Honolulu Valley.
Looks like they're going to leave me up here by myself. Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to come and speak before you and give me an update. First of all, the land purchase memo and resolution that we're asking you to consider this evening. Just a couple of things about that. This is the culmination of about 3 years worth of work. We've looked at probably 14 or 15 different potential building sites, and this site is the one that we feel meets our requirements the best. This site is also being requested because we have a $500,000 grant available to us from the Adams County Commissioners. That grant was awarded to us also about 3 years ago. and it has a deadline of December 31st, 2026, so about 6 months from now. If we don't use that grant, we lose it, it's gone. The purchase of this real estate really has no direct connection to a potential building project. The building project has not really been thoroughly discussed. It hasn't been decided what size of a building project we would like to do. We have the recommendations from the feasibility study, but the conversations about the exact size of the building, the exact number of programs, exactly which programs they are, that work has not been done yet. We need to have the real estate purchased before we can have those conversations. There's really no sense in paying an architect to design a building if we don't have a place to put it. Part of that 3 years of work that we did, I understand there at another board meeting, another ACTI participating district board meeting, there were some concerns brought up about the Harrisburg Area Community College campus in Gettysburg. I understand it's now public knowledge that that facility is for sale. Part of our 3 years worth of work was to look at that site. About a year and a half ago, I got a call from Dr. Steed, outgoing president of HAC, and we went there with our architect and the superintendent of record at the time, and we took a good tour of that facility. We asked questions of the vice president of facilities of HAC. She walked us through the tour. That building sits in a pretty bad flood area. I haven't seen it flood myself. I've been in this position for about 7 years, but I've heard people say, yes, there's been water in the building. I've had to leave my office because there was water coming in on the floor. And if you think about a technical school, one of the things we're trying to do is have heavy duty programs like automotive technology, welding, HVAC, electrical construction, diesel mechanics. That facility is not suitable for those types of programs. If you walk through that facility, it's mostly classrooms. They have 1 or 2 spaces maybe that have high ceilings that you could do a heavy duty type program in. If the foundation is even suitable for that kind of thing. That building was never built to be a tech school. So we feel like we have done our due diligence on the Harrisburg Area Community College campus in Gettysburg, which you all received that email from me recently about that. The other thing about this land purchase is, if nothing else, it's an asset for ACTI. With the $500,000 grant, that covers about 1/3 of the cost. And then when you consider that the contract states that we're getting $200,000 from the sellers back into our ACTI endowment, that's a little bit of revenue coming into ACTI every year. So eventually that $200,000 that we're giving them, we'd be getting it back in revenue on an annual basis. So in considering the land purchase, I hope you look at it that way. Yes, it's somewhat connected to a potential building project in the future, but for now, it's simply an asset that we'd like to purchase and have for ACTI's future use whenever those conversations start to happen. Any questions about the land purchase?
Mrs. Young?
So you said the $200,000 that they'll give back was like revenue for ACTI, so you wouldn't give it back to the school districts offset?
During the Adams County Community Foundation giving spree last fall, an anonymous donor started an ACTI undesignated endowment that the Adams County Community Foundation manages. They gave us $10,000 and just said, here, put this in an endowment for ACTI. So we get a little bit of revenue from that money every year. The $200,000 would go into that endowment, and then we would get the dividends from that endowment on an annual basis.
And the $500,000 grant, you can't reapply for that?
No, that is the Adams County Commissioners were given several $1 million after COVID. They call it the Adams Rescue and Recovery Fund, and it was meant to help the community recover from COVID and all of the adverse effects of the shutdown and all of that. And when that grant was announced, we applied for it and we got awarded $500,000. But like I said, it has to be used by December 31st, 2026.
So you can't use it for something else?
It was awarded based on what we requested, and that was to purchase land to build a technical school in the future.
Isn't it true that you can get larger grant dollars for existing buildings to refurbish them?
There are a number of different grants out there, and we're talking with GMS Funding Solutions, which is an organization that helps organizations like us get grant money. They're experts in obtaining grant money. So yes, there are funds out there to help us renovate an acceptable building or build a new building, and even do infrastructure updates. Yeah.
When this was built, then it was just Alloy Creek, grades 4 and 5. The bathrooms used to flood all the time,
Mhm.
and then we fixed it, and then built a one K to 5. So you had grant money. You could add on to. Isn't there land behind it and stuff?
Rock Creek runs behind that Hack campus, and that's
And then off to the side of it.
what's that?
Got it.
That's part of the issue is Rock Creek behind the building. There's wetlands back there, which we were told by the Vice President of Facilities that there are bog turtles in there, which are pretty endangered species, and there are many hurdles to jump through if you want to do anything near a bog turtle habitat.
We've got a middle school. I've offered it many times. It's got a big kitchen for culinary.
I had some problem.
Yes.
Could you build up instead of out at your current facility?
No. I asked that question when I first started working there. No, the type of structure it is, we cannot do that. And there again, keep in mind the types of programs that we need in Adams County are heavy-duty industrial type programs that would require a pretty substantial structure and high ceilings.
That was the question I had.
Okay.
But additionally, have you gotten any input? I don't think we have from the other 4 schools of what programs they'd like to see have there or be added in to the ACTE?
As part of our feasibility study, we had the folks study that. They studied workforce data and workforce needs in the community. They looked at job postings, and so based on the information they gave us a number of years ago, the superintendents and I sat down and we kind of looked at the programs that we could have, and we picked 6 or 7 programs that we would like to add if we could.
Is that something you could do that you could maybe send to the community members from all 5 of the schools that are going to be using it or that currently are using, ACTE?
Which programs we'd like to add?
AI is
Yeah.
not going to replace any of them.
Just as, what's that?
AI is not going to replace any of the ones you came up with.
I don't think so.
You never know.
AI is gonna. I mean, you never know what it can do, right? But it might have a hard time fixing your furnace or unclogging your drain or fixing your car. So the programs that we would like to offer are based on data, but those final decisions haven't been made yet. Again, all of this kind of depends on having a piece of land. to build
Right.
on.
I know we really haven't heard a lot of information. And I know another thought that's been kind of going in my head. Is there a possibility to have one central office, like one building? So let's just say currently using the one we have now at Gettysburg High School. There, the building there. And you said we can't add on and build up to that. But using that as the central office, and then I know we have Maple Avenue as an option, and then using Hack, if we can't add on to it, at least using using that building as, so kind of like satellite campuses, but we wouldn't need to utilizing extras, like we don't need secretaries for there, like we'd have one office. Is that something you guys have looked into that would be a possibility?
We had those conversations pretty early on about satellite campuses, about each high school having a couple programs and rotating students around. There are a number of different issues there. The biggest one, I believe, is logistics. We have a hard time getting 5 high schools to coordinate enough to align our schedules to have the AM/PM rotation that we have now. If you throw on top of that, getting students to 6 different places and back to their high schools in time, and the bus capacity and availability to do that. I don't know, Dr. Perry, you had some good explanation of satellite campuses.
Yeah.
Was there anything I didn't hit there?
Good evening. So the major issue back in 2019, this was studied very, very thoroughly, and there was some semblance of agreement amongst the superintendents that every school district would house a few programs. So any that their size would allow 2 to 3. That seemed to be much more of a cost-effective option than what it is that we're currently speaking about. And so it's a great question, and it's one that's come up multiple times over the years that we've been talking about this vision. The major issue is the transportation costs. So a lot of our districts don't have available busing to run to multiple school districts. They have it accessible for ACTI. Another issue are the graduation requirements and the time of moving students about throughout the county in a not so centralized area, which was the goal of the vision of the JOC. Since my tenure, which has been about 6 years here in Adams County, we've had roughly 4 different JOCs that have studied both of those options in pretty great detail. All coming back to the fact that centralized location for Adams County Technical Institute, that the economy of scale and scope to offer the programs that the industry leaders were claiming that we needed in order to employ a workforce with the high priority occupations, that we see here in the York Adams area. So that's how we came to this vision, was really the economy of scale and scope. That if you have one centralized region, it's actually much more cost effective than spreading those responsibilities in and among and between the various school districts. The cohesiveness of the school was another comment that came up. So bringing all of the students together as a cohesive school. We heard about school nurses, and then we're requiring additional services that the districts would have to pick up for other students other than their own. So that also became a bit cost prohibitive when people had to discuss the possibility of adding additional maintenance personnel, custodial support, or nursing support. So those were some of the conversations that have occurred briefly, if I can put 6 years into just a few minutes.
Dr. Perry, and maybe you might know this, or Mr. Eckler, what percentage of ACTI students ride school-provided transportation versus drive to?
That's a great question. Yeah, Mr. Eckenroe would be able to speak to that.
For the junior class, I would say it's probably 85% drive district transportation, because most of them aren't old enough to drive yet. For the senior class, I'd say it's the reverse. Probably 85% of them drive their own cars.
Have we done any analysis as to what the operational costs, like staffing and equipment, all of the different operational components of the new building, the new programs would look like?
That would be very dependent upon how many programs there are and how large the building is. So, sure, Dr. Payne comes from Huntington County Career and Technical Center, which has 10 programs. 12, I'm sorry. So he has an idea.
So-
that's about the size we would like to be. So.
Right, so just to kind of give you the scale. Huntington County had 12 programs, roughly 25 on staff, half a dozen paras, custodial staff, maintenance supervisor, and whatnot. And the operational budget was just under $3.4 million. And I believe ACTI's budget this year was 2.3. So yeah, about 30% more. It would probably be closer to 3.8 to 4 million, I would say, when it's all said and done, just because of the difference in salaries between Adams County and Huntington County. But that's a pretty rough estimate as far as the same size and scope. We had about 400-ish students. Max capacity we would be looking at potentially would be 600. I mean, that would be every program maxed out. So that's as good a good estimate as I can think of right now.
And again, all of that would depend on, the conversations around what size of schools we would need and what type of programs we would offer and all of that.
Right. This is just my thoughts. People here might have different thoughts. People in the county might have different thoughts. With the whole satellite campus thing, I know that it is not the most logistically ideal thing for the long term, but for the short term, because right now we don't have a building problem. Our building houses the programs that we have. We need to establish more programs and offer more opportunity for there to be a building.
We do have waiting lists on several programs, though.
Correct. But that would be room for expansion. My thought currently is that why can't we try to expand our programs, see what different programs students would be interested in, different things that we could start to get going, which would build up the operational costs for the districts to start to build that up and get accustomed to, and then the debt service would come down the road with a building. I think it's a pretty scary thought for probably a lot of people on this board, maybe not, to get into a big sort of debt situation with a building project, and then here comes the operational costs on top of that, seemingly all at one time.
And additional tuition.
Yeah, and the additional tuition that would be associated with the operational costs. So that's just a thought. As we continue to progress, I would like to have some additional conversations as to what does and I should probably be directing this to the two of you because you were the two that are actually going to be here. In terms of what's the plan going to look like in terms of what we need to get a lot more things solidified. I feel like before we have an accurate depiction, and that's why I just feel like there's been ACTI has just kind of been one of those things that's been up in the air to us. So I hope to continue to have these conversations. I'd love for you all to arrange the joint board getting together. I think that there's a lot of value in bringing the different voices of the different boards together. I know that Mr. Yerger attends with the 5 other people, but that's 5 people out of 45. So that's, I think that there's a lot of different diverse opinions and ideas that would be valuable to be brought to the table in terms of that full governing body of the ACTI. So are there any other questions or?
Isn't there problems with this land that you want to purchase? Are there issues with it? Like, aren't there land issues? Didn't you say there were issues with it that they need to look into?
I said that they're having their time of due diligence to see if there are wetland issues or if there's the turtle issue.
Oh, I thought you said there was something else that didn't say.
There are some wetlands on that property that we haven't completed our due diligence on yet, but if you look at the warehouse facility that was proposed for that site and the lot next to it, they had a pretty large portion of their building on the site that we're looking to purchase that would cover the size of the building that we would like to do. So there are some wetland issues there that we will take a look at, but we feel like there's enough usable land out of the 67 acres to do what we would like to do.
And then it was suggested that if you do, once you do build a building, it would just be the 7 programs that we have for now.
There are some, I'm sorry.
As you develop, what else you want to add?
There was a phasing option in the feasibility study, and that's part of the larger conversation that we would have as well.
Add on to that too.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so that particular idea seemed initially like it was going to be the one that we would recommend. However, in the long term, it's much more expensive to do 7 programs and then 10 to 15 years later, add an additional 7 programs. So you would still have to have the land that could accommodate that future growth. And what the feedback we received from the joint meeting in October, and for the community's interest or board members, we do have that online on the ACTI website, but please feel free to go back and review and refresh the history of ACTI. And that came up, but the problem was the expense, that it is actually cheaper to do the larger building. Now, whether it's 14 programs or 10 programs or 12 programs, when we saw what financially would be the cap that each of our school districts could reasonably take out in bonds, we knew that that would be the 30 million would be everybody's max. But we also knew that we couldn't ask our school districts to say yes to spending that 30 million on what we already have. So that was the key point there, that there were conversations that maybe there's 7 different programs, if that's what the joint board would want. But for us, that first logical step was to find a piece of property, because all of the years that we've been looking at property and leasing options, we haven't found that perfect piece of property yet. And so the likelihood that that perfect piece of property would come up in the near future or down the road is becoming less and less of a possibility in our minds. So there is that urgency as well, that if we obtain an asset, we can always sell it. If we all decide, all the school districts decide we want to sell that, we may even be able to make a little bit of money, down the road. But in the meantime, that also buys us the time to do exactly as you're suggesting, that our next step then would be to bring the joint board together, all of our occupational advisory committee members from across all of our 5 school districts and Adams County Technical Institute, as well as our industry partners through the Adams County Economic Alliance, and really look and share the data together. And then the joint board does get to decide the ultimate direction. We're simply providing the recommendations. The JOC is the one filtering that information and having those conversations, but that does need to happen. Everybody needs to come in and provide their voice and their perspective and set the parameters and the boundaries for what it is that we all feel comfortable with. It's the only way this project will ever lift off the ground, is if all of us come together, share our perspective, share our voice, and only then would we be able to move forward. But we don't have a master plan that within 1 year we will have a design and our plan is to build. We want to go as fast as our joint board feels comfortable, or as slow as the joint board feels that we need to. So I hope that's helpful, just to put that in context.
And I just want to reiterate, like, the asset aspect of this purchase. I mean, ultimately, like we referred to, if this purchase happens, Littlestown is a 1/5, not equal, obviously, owner of this property. If nothing else happens, and if things fall flat in their face 3 years from now, it's an asset that can potentially be sold. And the fact that we're getting almost a third of it paid for with this grant is I feel, really beneficial. So
just to clarify, you're saying that unless there's land purchased, you're not going to get the boards together, you're not to discuss, you're not going to do an analysis, and you're not going to come up with programs?
Well, we can. We have ideas what the programs are because of the industry, and we did discuss that at our October community forum, where this is the direction that we believe that we're headed. If that's changed or modified, absolutely, that is the joint board. So our vision was to have a joint board meeting as early as December, but with the elections and with new board members coming on board, everybody thought a pause would be important. However, we still were moving forward with the analysis of potential pieces of property that we felt might meet the need of the vision that was provided by way of the feasibility study. And that was from feedback from your joint operating committee members, that you have serving on that committee as well. So yes, we need to get together. We need the voices. But the first step, we believed, was to have that piece of property to gain that asset. This is still a very young organization. It's only been a few years that ACTI has been on their own. they've always been a part of the Gettysburg Area School District. So gradually, we've been growing that organization to stand on its own 2 feet. And we believe that that land is that next step in the process, at least that's what we've been advised, is the next logical step in the process. But the joint board has to be involved, no matter whether it's before a land purchase or after. The actual vision of the building is going to come from the joint board, and we're certainly in no rush until that happens, you know, for those designs.
And if I could add, just quickly clarify, just to confirm that if this doesn't happen, this land purchase or this program, ACTI's not going away.
That's correct.
ACTI will still exist as is.
That's correct.
Our students will still be able, in all 5 districts, be able to utilize the programs that we currently have,
Yes.
which in my opinion is wise until we can figure out, I feel like we're kind of putting the cart before the horse a little bit. I would really like to see the boards get together and have a conversation, and get some surveys out to the community, out to the students at different high schools, get their thoughts on principals, get their thoughts of what their students, they like what's there, they'd like to see come in. But I just wanted to confirm that ACTI's not going away, we're still going to utilize it as is right now.
That's right.
Can I ask why you didn't, provide the land contract for us to review?
The what?
The land contract, why we don't get to review it?
I can send that to you.
Questions?
Yes.
Once the initial land is bought, 1.2 million, our share is 181,320 of that. What are the annual costs beyond that until something's done to our district?
Well, we're public schools, so we wouldn't pay taxes on the land. And I may turn to you guys again, any costs with this.
There's actually a farmer that currently leases it. I know they called the other day, and I was to get in touch with him to see if he can continue to do that until something's done.
Will we be bringing income on it?
I mean, potentially.
Small, potentially, but
Right.
what I'm asking is you know, every district that wants to get involved in this is, I'm sure, if you just buy land and it's sitting there, initially, how much is it costing us until we decide what we're gonna do? You said we can sell it for years if we don't wanna do it. Well, okay, that's great, we can do that, that's an option, probably gonna go up in price, but what's it gonna cost us until then?
Right.
After the initial buy? Because, let's put it this way, all the districts have put money aside initially for an initial land buy. So I'm just curious as to, you know, what the costs are gonna be annually that we have to incur unless there's a building on it. There isn't one. So it looks to me like,
I could certainly get that information, but like I said, I just got back from vacation, and there was a note on my desk that this person who farms it wanted to know if it would still be available this year to farm it, and I would certainly give him a call. We also, part of the due diligence is to get any and all information, surveys, studies, anything that was done to that land prior to, so I'm sure the lease agreement in there with the current landowners is part of that, so I can get that and see what that is.
and Sean also, when I was at ACTI, there was always rumors going around about how, and I'm not saying this is true, Gettysburg wanted us out of that building. It's not true.
No.
Okay. We just want to clarify that, because,
Yeah, I never heard that.
okay, good.
Said that once or twice.
Yeah, correct. I just wanted to make sure that was, the rumors were spreading like crazy about that.
So is
Yeah, no.
Gettysburg the only district that has voted on this so far?
No,
Conawago has.
all the other districts have voted on it. Fairfield, Conawago Valley, and Union Springs were all unanimously for the resolution to purchase the land. Gettysburg was split, and they voted no. And their main concern was the Harrisburg Area Community College campus, and that was before I sent that information out about the due diligence we had already done on that site.
And Sean, I could add a little bit of light to that. In addition to our local real estate broker, Dave Seitz, who has a lot of expertise with real estate and so on, he did think it was worth at least looking at HAC a little bit more Tim Sigmund, who's our JOC representative at Gettysburg, I think he does a really good job. You all shared some additional information tonight that he did not share with us that probably would have been helpful. And I think that the one thing that a couple of our members at Gettysburg was asking for, I don't know if they fully appreciate or understand a resolution compared to terms in a contract. So one of the things that might be helpful is what exactly does a resolution that we have in front of us tonight, what does that commit Littlestown to? And as we shared at Gettysburg last Monday, we don't want this issue to die because we are passionate about career and tech education and so on. But they just thought, the majority of the board that night thought it was worth at least taking one more look at HAC.
Right.
And also they were hoping to have a little more detail about the terms and conditions. But correct me if I'm wrong. It was mentioned here that, well, we have what we currently have, but what we are going to lose if we don't collectively take action is $500,000 that is given to us by the county commissioners of Adams County.
Right.
That's pretty significant, I would say. So can you help us out a little bit? What exactly does the resolution, if it would be approved, and I voted for it last Monday night, what does that commit the board to?
Again, I'm going to turn to Dr. Perry as superintendent. She's a little more familiar with board practice and policy. But in my understanding is the resolution just gives us your guarantee that you support this land purchase and your share of the purchase price.
And I'm hopeful, even though it didn't happen last Monday, I'm hopeful Gettysburg will be there at some point when they learn a little bit more about terms and conditions and some other details.
Yeah, there's nothing that says they.
But having the three of you here tonight is extremely helpful, and I think we all appreciate that.
I think Gettysburg asked for the contract too, so I thought we were going to have it here, but we don't.
Yeah, I'll send that out as soon as I leave here. And I apologize that I didn't send it with the resolution. I think it wasn't fully signed at that point.
Yeah, there was some back and forth. The last thing that I'll add about the due diligence, just to talk a little bit more about that, is that at any point during the due diligence process over the course of the next few months, if there's anything that is not in the joint board's best interest, we don't and won't move forward, with that contract. So what the resolution is saying is that, yes, go forward, continue to do the due diligence on this piece of property. Then that's our job, and that gives us our marching orders to ensure and work with our architect as well as the engineers and reviewing the traffic study and our real estate agent to come back to discuss if there are any findings, with the joint board. That would be that next step. So if that's something that would preclude us from moving forward with that board, we would certainly not recommend, that we would go to closing on that piece of property. So we're just at the beginning stages of this. We're not saying that we're closing on this property and within a month. We have multiple months that the owners have agreed to allow us to do our due diligence because we do know how big of an investment that this is for each of our districts.
I have a question. Do you know how many acres, someone said, Sharon, there is wetlands on the property. Do we know how many acres of wetlands there are or how much wetlands there are? Because what if we do commit to this and then it turns out that it's not even going to be feasible to put a building on there?
Yeah, in that case, if we would use that example, we would not recommend moving forward with a closing on that property. That would be enough for us. So in other words, the number, the size of the building that we're using, which would be the maximum amount of programs, 14 programs, it's 140,000 square feet. So when we're moving a building on a property to see if that's feasible, that's the size building that we would be looking at. That doesn't mean that that's what we're going to build, but what we're saying is long-range vision for the number of students that we have in Adams County, we could see 14 programs being that target amount of programs. Again, it doesn't mean that we have to do that. It just means that we don't want to sell it and be short and then have the joint board say, hey, there's 5 more programs programs really based upon the feedback that we got from surveys or students or industry that we should have more. So we don't want to end up there either. So 140,000 square feet, and then they generate an image that they put on the property. They say these are the identified wetlands. How can you get in for egress and ingress, and to see if it's feasible. If it's not, we would not recommend moving forward.
We've seen maps of this with wetlands marked on it, and if I had to make a pretty educated guess, I would say maybe 10%, 15% was marked. Very thin, couple thin strips where some small creeks have gone through. If I had to venture, I guess.
Yeah, the number that sticks in my head was like 53 to 55 acres were used.
Out of the 67.
Out of the 67, right.
How much are we putting down as a deposit?
We put that.
We gave $20,000 in earnest money, and that money we've had in ACTI as assigned fund balance. So we took care of that, and of course we would get that back if the sale is.
So there's no scenario in which we would decide to pull out of the deal
And lose the money.
Use it.
And we have spent some money analyzing potential building sites. I said at the beginning that we've looked at 14 or 15 different sites. We've had civil engineers look at those sites for everything from wetlands to potential bedrock to topography, and that came at a cost. However, we had grant money to pay for that. We've so far received about $60,000 in grant money from the Adams County Community Foundation to help us evaluate potential building sites and the due diligence that we're doing on this site. So the due diligence work shouldn't cost us anything out of our pocket. And what we've spent so far has been grant money.
Any other questions, board members? Anyone else?
I don't have anything else right now.
All right, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
At this time, can I have a motion to approve the board meeting minutes 1 through 4?
So moved to non-wrestler?
Motion on the floor, I have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Ayes have it, and the motion carries. Final properties.
All right. Do we have anybody wanting May to I?
So we have A, B,
C,
E,
D,
E,
Old D,
F,
F,
H, please.
anybody else?
L1, 4.
Okay. I think it would be good to, on A,
so let's do a motion to approve
sorry.
G, I.
sorry. So in the form of a motion, I recommend approval for G, I, J, and K.
A motion on the floor, do I have a second?
Second to non-wrestler?
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The ayes have it, the motion carries. We'll start with A. So, which should be motion? Can I have a motion to approve either option 1 or 2 of the resolution implementing the 2026-2027 2027 fiscal year final budget, with members voting for the option that they wish to pass.
Excuse me, how does the board member not vote for either in that case? Or you're saying pick an option.
If someone's gonna vote no, I'm voting no. Let's just do one. That's this.
So you're not going to contribute and vote for either budget?
That's kind of a personal question.
Well, it was part of the discussion, that's why we did the full board.
Before we get into the session, let's get a motion in a second. So I would go with this. Well, you can do it whatever you want. It's up to you. If you want to do the way we stated originally, or find this.
All right, can I have a motion on either option?
Recommend approval for either option.
No, well, I just need, like,
Motion on the floor.
I need someone to actually state the option that they want to vote. If we're gonna have two people that are gonna vote no either way.
So motion either for option 1 or a motion for option 2, and then if there's a second, we'll go to discussion.
I'll make a motion for option 2.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor to approve option 2, 2% tax increase. Do I have a second? Moved and seconded. Discussion. Any discussion?
You know how I feel about it. You know, I think we fiscally responsible that we're gonna have a deficit. There's no guarantee that we're gonna get the money that's supposed to be coming from this year's audit. So I think it's wise for us to look again. You know, inflation doesn't exempt school districts. So.
Any further discussion?
I have a question. Do we have a plan? If we go with option 2%, do we have a plan on how we're gonna pay back the money so that we can keep the 5%? I mean, it's our policy, so I'm just asking, if we have a plan, do we have a plan? I don't know if that's a Tom question or if that's whoever wants to answer it.
I don't want to speak for Tom, but I will say, at least for my 9 months being here at Littlestown, the combination of that 2% increase, along with the administrative team making some fairly significant cuts that we anticipate in the very near future, will put us on a trajectory to bring revenue and expenses into balance. It's not going to happen overnight, but it will happen over a period of time, and I think it'll come sooner than later if we generate a little bit of revenue. The board does their part in that regard. This team will do their part. Tom, I don't know, does that make sense?
Yeah, the short answer is yes, we always have a plan. That plan is always a moving target, and I think that this board consistently to refine that plan every finance committee meeting. So yes, we always have a plan moving forward, and yes, Dr. Moyer said we will continue moving forward on the desired plan that we've outlined with the board.
And ideally, in a perfect world, nobody wants to raise taxes. I mean, that's just, you know, that would be perfect.
Hey, Tom, if a plan exists, it belongs in tonight's minutes.
Some of the plan is executive session material.
So, some of, Mr. Sullivan, some of those issues revolve around personnel, and that needs to be done in executive session, and some of that can't be proposed.
And we have done.
Yeah, we had that a few weeks ago, where we had some discussion.
Yes.
You were a part of that.
It's several times.
Yeah, but we're asking if you have a written plan required by board policy 620 to bring back the unassigned fund balance to 5%. That's what we're asking, and you said we do. So if we do have one, should we make that public?
Can you point to where it says written plan?
Well, I mean, it should be a written plan. We should have some type of
But does
plan.
it say that in the policy? Or
Well, it doesn't say, it's very vague, obviously, but it does say it should be addressed. If you read it,
We
it
have
says it
addressed it,
immediately.
it's executive session, when
Immediately.
we've addressed it. We can't, it's executive session information. And we all agreed to it.
Yes, there's been a lot that's been put forward, discussed, as far as that goes.
Let's vote.
Roll call. Roll call.
Donna Bales.
This is on the 2%, option 2%.
Correct, that is an option to 2%.
Okay, so I'm opposed.
Wayne Sullivan.
Opposed.
Jeannie Ewan.
No.
Janelle Ressler.
Yes.
Bill Arnold.
Yes.
Stephen Yerger.
Yes.
Joseph Yelk.
Yes.
Nick Lovell.
No.
Ally McCall.
Yes.
We got 5.
5-4, motion carries. Item B, we can only approve, can I have a motion to approve option 2 for homestead, farmstead exclusion?
Why are we all going with option 2?
Because 2 is.
It's tied to the tax.
Oh, it has to be both.
It's tied
You
to
can't
the
do it
tax
separate.
rate.
Okay,
So if you chose the 2%, the homestead farmstead has to follow the 2%.
I got it.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a minor decrease.
Yeah, that's what I know.
It's like a couple cents per.
Yeah.
Can I have a motion?
Well, wait a minute. Oh, go ahead. Discussion.
Can I have a motion?
Motion on the floor.
Motion, do I have a second?
2-2.
Well, we have to second it out on the call.
Thank you.
Moved and seconded, discussion.
I mean, we're getting the farmstead, the homestead farmstead, no matter what, right?
Yeah.
So explain to me why it's.
So the millage rate that's assigned with the 2% increase, the assessed value decrease allowable. People have, all their assessed value cannot go below that 0, so that changes the threshold that the pool of money gets spread amongst. So that threshold raises, so then the pool of money gets spread thinner, so each taxpayer gets a little less of that assigned for that, how it's divvied up. So it's directly tied to the millage rate.
So, yeah, I mean, you basically have to be, yes, so.
Yeah, so it's directly tied, so we had 0 and 2, they were directly 1 for
Yeah.
1. If
Well,
you
they
chose
should-
0,
so
then
they
it's
should have
0,
voted
then
on
it's
the
2,
other
then it's
then.
2.
We can't, but at this point, this is just, if there weren't options on the agenda, there was only one option, the agenda item would read, recommend approval of the homestead farmstead exclusion.
Correct.
So it just has to have different for the 2 different budget scenarios.
All right.
That's what I wanted.
I thought we could vote on it and it could be separate because the 0% was more money
Yes.
for them. Okay. I mean, it's not a huge difference, but it's a little, it's a little bit. I mean, every little bit helps, but at least it's something.
Any further discussion?
I do.
Don?
So I just want to make sure I get this straight. So we just voted to increase taxes by 2% and decrease taxpayers' homestead, farmstead by 2%.
Not by 2%.
Okay, what did we vote for then? What part of the homestead farmstead did we do? I thought it was, we just said option 2 is tied on both sides.
Correct.
$76 difference between option A and B. $476 difference. It's $26,508 compared to $25,984, which is the 470.
Right, but what I'm saying is,
That's off the assessed value, so that decreases the assessed value. Which equates to around a couple cents when it goes through the village.
right, so we increased taxes by 2%.
Yes.
And we also decreased the amount of homestead farmstead, return that the taxpayers will get on their taxes?
A couple cents, yes.
A couple cents, well, let's see, okay. So it's a double whammy, really, is what it is.
Well, either way, we gotta vote for them.
I understand, okay, thank you.
Literally been in development.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
Opposed?
Ayes have it, motion carries.
Item C.
I can't hear you.
Sorry. Recommend approval for the following donations: 4 copies of the children's book, labor material for select improvements to baseball, softball fields, Call family, Dale, Valley, and Colton.
Any discussion?
Yeah.
Well, I first, for number 1, oh, I need a second, Janelle Wrestler. Now I can discuss. Looking at this number, or C1, we actually, there's no superintendent signature, and it didn't go through CCNP, so I would like to table it, pull it, and send it back to CCNP. So it follows the proper chain of command.
And these are library resource items.
Yeah, number 1 is, yes.
So there's a motion to table. Is there a second on the tabling?
Second.
Any discussion on the motion to table? No discussion. Motion to table. Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion to table passes. So C1 is tabled. C2, motion to approve C2 is still pending. Any discussion on item C2, the labor and materials for select improvements, baseball and softball fields generously from the McCall family?
Thank them.
And
Yes,
I
thank
thank the McCalls for their generous donation and time and everything else to improve our facilities for our students. So thank you for going above and beyond your call to be a support member and for your family contributing. So.
And I would like to ask, under that, not against Ally, is there ever supposed to be like a figure amount put in there when you donate? I mean, does it have, you understand what I'm saying? Normally when we get donations, we have a figure amount of money written in there of the donation.
I don't know the policy that's required.
I'll also add, it hasn't been assessed yet. They're donating their time and effort. They haven't assessed what that, well, that's why select improvements to be assessed by them. It's potentially a donation ahead of time. Since we're on meeting in July, this was to get that ahead of time, so we're a little ahead of that. We don't have a number.
Okay, thanks.
And Ally, correct me if I'm wrong, the focus isn't on new backstops or netting or, the focus is on the performance, the performance ability of the playing area for both the baseball and the softball area. And we've discussed ad nauseum some of those issues. So again, on behalf of our whole team here, thank you to you and Dale and your efforts to make this happen.
All right. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. The ayes have it. Motion carries.
Number D, recommend approval of the 2026-27 Saxon Stump terms of engagement for legal services.
A motion on the floor to approve the Saxton Stump contract. Do I have a second?
Second, Jeannie.
Any discussion?
Yes. Another thing I would like to note is, as of 5/29/2026, we have spent $69,876.66 with Saxton and Stump. Just want to make that clear. That does not include through June yet. We haven't billed for June. I just wanted to make it clear that's how much we've paid them thus far for the fiscal year 25/26.
And I would just make a comment, a big thank you to David and your team at Saxon and Stump for your responsiveness, your thoroughness, and the accuracy of your recommendations to us. They have, in the long run, even though that's a lot of money, in the long run, it saves us a lot of money, in my belief, And to some degree, as we've talked about before, some of these financial wounds regarding legal services are self-inflicted wounds that we need to do a better job of as a board. And I think we can do that moving forward. Thank you.
And I appreciate that. I'll just note, I think, some of the fee increase this year were two pieces of litigation that came out, and some of that was insured, so the district is, I believe, getting money back on those insured cases. And I think, we make those solicitor reports available monthly, and the inspection invoices, I believe the costs are going to reflect that. So I appreciate that. If there's any questions,
There is, Dave, I'm glad you said that, because I noted that 320 and 420, we had solicitor reports drawn up, but the board never received them.
I'll make sure you get those.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed say no.
Opposed.
The ayes have it, and the motion carries.
Okay, E, recommend the approval of the following resolutions with the joint board of the Adams County Technical Institute to purchase property and organize. One, should we do, let's see separately, or do you have to do it?
We're gonna approve them all.
Okay. ACTI property purchase memo, resolution to the Littlestown area school district, and resolution of joint board of ACTI to organize the authority.
A motion on the floor to approve the ACTI land purchase resolutions. Do I have a second?
Seconded, Dwayne Sullivan.
Discussion.
We want to approve this without seeing the sales agreement. Contract.
We put this forward to July. That'll give us we have 4 weeks
Board can make a motion to table.
to table it to next month.
meeting.
Okay. So I'd like to make a motion to table it to the July work session.
I'll
We already have a
second
motion on the floor, so.
Can we just keep it to the next meeting, so that it depends on when we have the, meeting for the half one drawing?
Sorry to interrupt, Mr. Lavelle. Is there a question about the contract we could answer, one of the terms, or?
Is there a question?
It sounds like, I would like to see it, to review it and take a look at it before.
Okay.
So there's a motion to table to the board's next, board meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of the motion to table, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The ayes have it, and the motion to table carries. Item F.
Recommend approval to transfer the funds from general fund to capital reserves pending results of the 2025 plan financial audit. The amount to be determined in the fall.
A motion on the floor to approve the transfer. Do I have a second?
For discussion, for the second, Janelle Ressler.
I have a second. Any discussion?
Why are we doing the same thing? We did this last year, and we found ourselves wishing that we hadn't done that.
No, this is just for us to be able to say, if in the fall we do want to transfer something to capital reserve, we have to approve it now. This isn't actually sending an amount there. But if we don't do it now, the fall comes, we can't make that decision, right, Tom?
Correct, this is just the option to do it in the fall.
If we
or
choose to.
So we're not moving it, we're just giving the option.
Correct.
But if we don't do that now, we don't have the option next year to move anything. Is that in and out, or just into?
That's just into capital reserve.
Okay.
It's a whole different opportunity, not a whole different scenario to bring it out of capital reserve.
I would just say that my opinion is, since the last sort of run-in with capital reserve we had, and finding out that that money is not just fluid, as we want to make believe that it is, I would advise the board to be much more judicious in making any such transfers to the capital reserve, because I believe that we should try to maintain maximum flexibility with our funds, and doing so in the general fund. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no.
No.
Opposed.
Did you get that, Tom?
All right, two ayes.
Aye.
3.
Aye.
Thank you, Dave.
All right. Did we get from Joe? Let's do a roll call.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the vote agreed.
Yeah.
Good.
Do you want this one? All right. Janelle Ressler,
Yes.
Jeannie Ewan,
No.
Donna Bayless,
No.
Nick Lowe,
No.
Stephen Yerger,
Yes.
Alan Nicole,
Yes.
Bill Arnold,
Yes.
Wayne Sullivan,
No.
Joseph Yeller.
Yes.
5-4.
H, recommend approval of the True North letter agreement for drug and alcohol student assistance program services for the 2026-2027 school year.
Motion on the floor, do I have a second?
Second and Wayne Sullivan.
Any discussion? Donna, you asked for this one. Any discussion?
I have some serious reserves about this, specific item, so,
What are they?
I think there's some ethical issues in regards to this. It's just my one voice, just my one opinion.
Yep.
Let me see what they are.
It'll probably end up in executive session, so to be safe, I don't think that's appropriate.
Well, maybe it's something that maybe some of us missed, that we can have this discussion, and if it gets to that point, we need to go to executive session?
I don't see this as a person, I'm not sure why it would be executive session. Dr. Berryman, could you share just a little bit about what they do with our SAF team?
So these services are for outside providers to come in, and it's generally when we have a policy violator for drugs and alcohol. We do 3 sessions. They are the counselor that comes in for the parents, take them to the facility out on Elm or wherever they move to, for them to get at least 3 sessions to assess drug and alcohol usage, whether it's preliminary or they need more services. So generally this is for our policy violators, or if parents contact us and say that they need their student to go through SAF for drug and alcohol, it is through this service. We don't pay for it, it's funded through the state, but we have to have an agreement with them, especially for our policy violators that we send to them.
Thank you.
Any questions? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no.
Opposed?
The ayes have it, the motion carries.
Recommend approval for L, payment of invoices 2, 3, and 5.
And a motion on the floor, do I have a second?
Second and Wayne Sullivan.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. The ayes have it, the motion carries.
Recommend approval for 1, general fund checks.
Motion on the floor to approve the general fund checks, is there a second?
Second, Jeannie.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no.
No.
Opposed?
The ayes have it, paying our bills is passed. Can I have a motion to approve capital project checks?
Sorry. Second, senior.
Motion, is there a second? Capital project? I need a second one to approve.
Second,
capital
Janelle Ressler.
Sorry.
Any
Sorry, I'm
discussion?
still laughing at this,
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no.
Opposed.
The ayes have it, the motion carries.
Treasurer's note. Noted. End of report.
All right, end of that So, under personnel, we're going to pull item A. We're going to pull item C. Are there any other items that anyone would like to do? Anything else? All right. Can I have a motion to approve personnel items B, D, E, F, and G?
So moved, Janelle Ressler.
First.
Oh.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
What's your discussion?
I wanted to ask David Walker if you could please clarify what is the prerequisites to become a volunteer in this district?
That's noted in our policy.
Yeah, but I wanted David to clarify what is required.
Anything different than what's in our policy?
You guys have me if I'm aware of your prerequisites to be a volunteer,
Yes.
as noted in your policy. I believe satisfactory background clearances if you have direct contact with children, otherwise satisfying. Is there
Subject to board approval.
subject to board approval? Yeah. Is there something we're missing?
Yeah, subject to board approval. I mean, so what I'm saying is we've got all these people that we're going to approve. Who determines these people don't get approved if they pass their background checks and they pass their, whatever they do, their TB testimony? So how do we start picking these people out individually and saying, we don't want you, even if they passed all their background checks?
I believe they're all listed for approval.
Correct?
Yes. Yes, your policy says subject to board approval. So if the board approves, the board approves. I don't believe anyone's picking anyone out.
We have had executive sessions in the past, and people have been picked out, and actually Dwayne was the one that picked out, and we went to executive session when he picked out somebody, so he knows that.
Is there a reason why, Mr. Ritz is listed twice? Under G?
That was my mistake. So,
It's okay, we
yeah, he's added.
just need them once.
Any further discussion? Once more, for the good of the order, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. You guys have it, motion carries. All right, now to the exciting part of the evening. Can I have a motion to approve Dr. Judy Merriman as superintendent starting July 1st, 2026 to June 30th, 2030, and per the superintendent contract?
So moved.
First.
Second, Janelle Ressler.
Wrestler. Discussion. Before we proceed with tonight's vote, I would like to take a moment to recognize the significance of this decision. The selection of a superintendent is amongst the most important responsibilities entrusted to a school board as it helps shape the future direction of our district for years to come. After conducting a comprehensive nationwide search and carefully evaluating highly qualified candidates, the board unanimously concluded that Dr. Judy Berryman is the right leader for the Littlestown Area School District. Throughout her service to the district, Dr. Berryman has demonstrated outstanding leadership, dedication, and an unwavering commitment to our students, staff, and community. Through this thorough and competitive process, she distinguished herself as the candidate best prepared to lead our district into the future. We thank Lincoln Intermediate Unit 12, Dr. Chris Marchese, and the entire search team for guiding the board through a diligent and professional search process. Their expertise, support, and commitment were instrumental in helping us identify an exceptional leader for our district. We also extend our appreciation to the staff and community members who participated in the process and provided valuable feedback along the way. We congratulate Dr. Berryman on her appointment and look forward to partnering with her as we continue moving our district forward and providing the very best educational opportunities for our students. Tonight marks the beginning of an exciting new chapter for the Littlestown Area School District, and we are confident that working together, great things lie ahead. So congratulations, Dr. Berryman.
presentation and your interview was spectacular. It really was. Well, you weren't there.
I believe that.
I can do it for you, Dave.
Looking forward to it.
If I can piggyback on that, I wholeheartedly believe that it is very clear that Dr. Merriman was the person that we needed to move forward with our district. I agree.
I would like to say, you came in and interviewed as a superintendent. You did phenomenal. You just gave us what we needed and made our job very easy. Yeah. Thank you.
Any further discussion?
I'd like to say, Dr. Berryman, I've watched you be a principal, and then I watched your work ethics, which are really good, really great, actually. And then I had a conversation with you when we made you assistant superintendent, and you have continued to impress me. And I hope it keeps going. I'm sure it will. And thank you for caring about this district. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Can I speak now, or would you like me to wait till maybe you actually go?
Well, I'll give Ms. Bayless the floor, and then
I think it was the fact that you were in the right place in the right time, but you may not have even known it, but you showed us over a period of time, just since I've been on, that you have more than what it takes to be a really good superintendent. And I have nothing but kudos for you, and welcome you with open arms. I think you'll be a fabulous superintendent for this district.
so let's vote, and then we'll talk to you and Chris. All right, Tom.
All right. First up, Janelle Ressler,
Yes.
Ally McCall,
Yes.
Stephen Yerker,
Absolutely, yes.
Donna Bayless,
Absolutely, yes.
Dwayne Sullivan,
Absolutely, yes.
Jeannie Ewan,
Yes.
Nick Lovell,
Yes.
Bill Arnold,
Yes.
and Joseph Young.
Yes.
It's unanimous.
Thank you to the board, especially for making me go through the process so that I could actually say that we did due diligence, had the opportunity to share my ideas with you during that presentation. Thank you to Dr. McKenzie for his guidance through this. A couple things. One, you guys met my husband one other time. This is probably the only second time you'll meet him. So nobody gets here alone. It takes a village. We were married fairly young. Put me through undergrad, graduate, doctorate. My two sons, my daughter-in-law. We don't get here by ourselves. Mr. Sullivan, you mentioned work ethic. I have to give my parents kudos for that. We actually talked about that yesterday. We had a get together at our house for Father's Day, and me and my two siblings, we all have good work ethic, and that is from our parents. Good old, they're from the Bedford County area, so they brought that work ethic with them, and they instilled it in us. And I think that working with this team, they have a great work ethic, and I think we can do a lot of great things in this district. So thank you for putting your trust and your confidence in me, and thank you.
I'd also like to give a couple moments to Dr. Chris Marchese, who led our superintendent search with IU12.
Thank you, Nick. It was a pleasure to work with this board during the process. This is one of our first ventures doing a superintendent search in our IU footprint, so I want to thank the Littlestown Area School Board for having trust in the IU to work with you on an important process. And certainly I enjoyed it. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. I will tell you all, from the community standpoint, you all worked very well together to get to a decision, and it was reflected in your votes tonight, which is extremely important for the district to be able to move forward. I want to congratulate Judy on her appointment this evening. I wish you all the best in the superintendency. It's a fun job, and it's great when you have 9 people behind you and want to see you be successful in that role. So I am certain that you will do great things here. I agree with every single comment that was shared this evening from your board about what you brought to the table through the process, and I know you will do great things here in Littlestown. Look forward to working with you and support your educational goals. And just want to say thank you to the board for your trust and confidence in the IU, and we really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. So,
Thank you, Dr. Marchese. Round of applause for Thank you for dinner twice.
I'm just also going to say Sharon's probably got a new mentee under her.
Come on. Let's go. All right. Well, now that we've gotten through the highlight of the evening, we can move on with the rest of the business. Can I have a motion to approve items C1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8?
Can you tell us the numbers again?
1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Oh, motion to approve, yes, Janelle Ressler.
Steve, you're your second.
All right. The reason for the numbers being broken up, the administration has pulled number 2. So, any discussion on the hires?
So it's just number 2 was pulled, all the
Just
rest is
number 2
going
is
forward?
pulled. All the rest are going forward. All right. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Personnel under curriculum, co-curriculum policy. Any items anyone would like to pull?
So I said B5?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anything else? Can I have a motion to approve items A, C, D, E, and F?
So moved, Wayne Sullivan.
Motion on the floor, have a second.
Steve, you're your second.
Any discussion?
I would like just to thank Mr. Moran and his team last week for coming, and I know it was long, but sharing about the curriculum. I was able to do some research this week myself on it. I'm looking forward to hearing, the results moving forward. And again, thank you for you guys taking the time to put that together for us and for the books.
Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Can I have a motion to approve items B, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6?
So moved, Steve, you're the
Seconded, Wayne Sullivan.
Seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. The ayes have it. Motion carries. I have a motion to approve policy 611.
So moved, Janelle Ressler.
Steve, you're the second.
Seconded. Any discussion?
Yes. I would like to pull that and table it, send it back to our CCND today.
The motion on the floor to table policy 611 and
Yeah.
send it back to committee. Is there a second?
I second it, Wayne Sullivan.
All right. All in favor to table policy signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion to table carries. All right, Steve, ACPI report, if there is one.
They need it. Thank you.
All right, under my report, we're going to start with, I'm going to yield some time to Dr. Merriman, and then I've got something to cover as well.
So thank you. I had emailed Nick to see if I could use this time just to give you an update. Last week, I shared with you that we had started our admin retreat with some AI training and doing some high-level, just starting to think about our goals for next year and closing out last year. And then then Tuesday, we continued with our retreat, went up to the U.S. Army War College. If you have never been there, I highly, highly recommend it. You need to call in advance, you need to get your clearances. They treated us so well. Their facilities were, they're just amazing. They built some new buildings up there. But we started in the morning with some leadership development, like enhancing our leadership skills, what it means to show up each day for everybody, how you're putting your best effort forward, how that works when you're working with your teammates, and really just enhancing our core values and what it means to work together to move Littlestown forward. We had a presenter in the morning who really took us through a number of different steps, and it was funny, and I think I brought this up to you in my interview. The first one, which I'm going to say felt like speed dating. We need to talk about that. But one of the things we talked about in our leadership enhancement time was, if not me, then who? If not now, then when? And sometimes as an administrator, you have to ask yourself that, and you have to ask your teammates that. And I actually had an administrator kind of echo that back to me today in a conversation that we were having about some leadership and enhancing things in our district. So we spent our morning doing that. And then in the afternoon, Lieutenant Colonel Andrew Harrigan, he was phenomenal. He is assigned there at the War College. And he really talked to us about how they developed their curriculum and how it's transformational educational systems there, how they developed strategic leaders. It wasn't, yes, he's in the military, but it wasn't all about the military. It's just, how do we develop strategic leaders? How do you make an impact on the people that are sitting in front of you that you're leading? What legacies are you leaving? Where do you want your legacy to land, and what impact are you making on the people that you lead? And then they gave us his portion of our day was probably only an hour and a half, 2 hours. But he's so well spoken, so humble, and he very much uses we. It's not like it's not an I type of situation. It's very much we. We as the team. How do we want to function? And how do we want to move forward? And very, very humble human being. We had a mess up on our lunch order. He's like, I got you. I'm going to go meet them at the gate. I'm going to bring your pizzas in that Al was enjoying this afternoon. So they are a week old. So anyway, but it was
community pizza, wasn't it?
It absolutely was community pizza. But it was just such a great day for our leadership team. We ended with some bowling and just some camaraderie, and I looked around at one point, and this may not seem like a big deal in a day of cell phone age. Not one person's on their cell phone, of a team of 18. We're all interacting, we're all enjoying each other, we're all getting to know each other at a different, deeper level. And it was just such an enjoyable, I can't put it into any other words. I think the team would agree. Then we ended our retreat with Eric on Wednesday, with reunification and safety and a little bit of a heavier topic, but a topic that we really needed to cover for our district, just to make sure that in the event of anything ever happening here, that Eric has us all informed about our roles and responsibilities. So that was a great start to making sure that, because we have had new people come in and out of the district in the last couple of years, so it was really important for us to all get on the same page. I do need to give a shout out. RLPS and the Thunderbolt Foundation both I sent out a lot of letters, and they were the two that did donate to help offset some of our costs. So I really do want to take the time to recognize RLPS and the Thunderbolt Foundation for their donation. Thank you.
Dr. Barrington, thank you so much for your leadership and your leadership of our wonderful admin team. I can't wait to see the things that we all collectively do together as a team moving forward into this next chapter. So thank you so much. To finish out my report time, I have something in honor of Dr. Moyer. I'm going to stand for this. With the appointment of Dr. Berryman as our next superintendent, Tonight marks Dr. Al Moyer's final board meeting as acting superintendent of Littlestown Area School District. On behalf of the entire Board of School Directors, I would like to express our sincere gratitude to Dr. Moyer for his dedicated service to our district over the past 9 months. Dr. Moyer stepped into this role during a period of uncertainty and transition and provided the steady leadership that our district needed. Through his experience, professionalism, and commitment to our students and staff, he helped ensure that the district remained stable, focused, and moving forward during a critical time. His service was invaluable. By serving as our acting superintendent, Dr. Moyer provided experienced leadership and guidance during a critical period of transition, advised and supported the board, and helped navigate numerous challenges and important decisions, allowing Dr. Berryman and the rest of the administrative team to remain focused on the daily work of educating and supporting our students. In addition to his many contributions, Dr. Moyer's service also provided significant financial savings to the district, saving taxpayers more than $65,000 during the past 9 months compared to the cost of employing a full-time superintendent during that period. Most importantly, Dr. Moyer brought stability, wisdom, and genuine care for our district at a time when it was needed most. For that, we are deeply grateful. While June 30th concludes his official service to Littlestown, we believe Dr. Moyer will always be a member of the Thunderbolt family. And as a small token of our appreciation and to commemorate his time with us, it is my honor to present him with his very own Thunderbolt plate. Wow. Thank you, Al, for your service, your leadership, and dedication to the school district. We are honored to have known you and to serve with you, and we thank you so much.
I'm going to get emotional.
Thanks for all your stories.
Candy and butterscotch.
Right. Well, thank you, President Lovell and school board. This is my last board meeting, which probably makes me almost as happy as Judy tonight. I told Eric I wanted to do a cartwheel right there on the floor, and he said, no way. He's the safety. Yeah, he was really concerned about it. I do want to take a moment and congratulate Tom Showbaker tonight, who just earned his master's degree from Wilkes University, and that's no easy task. I'm pretty familiar with that program. Tom did say that he'd like to be referred to as Master Showbaker, and I made sure that he did. That was not. I also want to say congratulations to our new board members, Mr. Bill Arnold and Mr. Joseph Yelp. I haven't known you guys long in virtual world, but I would just say we had a real nice meeting and sharing. Mr. Lovell shared a little bit about our protocol for board meetings. Tom shared a little bit about the budgetary process and where we stand and so on. You all came on the board at a very interesting time where you had to, make a decision in a hurry. And I commend you for that decision and for your support of the recommendation here. So I think with the addition of these two guys and the unanimous support behind Judy Berryman, I've got a good gut feel that this board and this school is headed in a really good direction, a trajectory towards success. So congratulations, Bill and Joseph. Judy, I do want to congratulate you as well personally for becoming our next superintendent here. I think you're going to be great. I do have a small gift for you. I have an idiot-proof 9-step process for making weather-related calls for weather and other disasters. Carrie put this together for me. It's laminated, so you can keep it. I don't know know, Sharon, if you would agree, but that's probably one of the funnest parts of our job, I would say.
And one that you're never trained in, superintendent school.
And Judy, you can be rest assured that whatever decision you make regarding the delay, cancellation, you will most likely get 100% support from everybody. The other thing that I did want to make sure and say and give credit to this Act 93 team. Obviously, being a school superintendent is not a part-time job. I could only commit 3 days a week because of my other professional commitments and so on. The reason, as Nick alluded to, the reason that we got through and we didn't just survive, I think we thrived in many ways. The reason that happened is because of these other people picking up the slack when I could not be on campus. And specifically, that would be Judy, Tom, John, Eric, and everybody, all the members of our Act 93 team when I couldn't be here. And we had some pretty challenging issues and so on, like any other school district would of this size. So we got through it, I think. And then finally, I just do want to thank the board for giving me this opportunity. I really enjoyed, but today is exactly 9 months, as Nick reminded me, and there were some days where it didn't go so fast. It felt like a little longer than that, but then here we are now, and it seems like it's a blink of an eye. So I'm really going to miss interacting with members of our team here and the school board. Dwayne, you too, from time to time. So I wish you the absolute best, and I'm not kidding when I say, with the support of the board tonight for generating some revenue and the commitment from our leadership team and doing whatever we can humanly do possible to curb expenses, and the consolidation of the middle school and the high school, that 6 through 12 grade configuration, that building up there is beautiful. And I think our community is really going to enjoy seeing that. I think there's some plans in August to say goodbye to MAMS and in September to introduce everybody to the new building. So I wish you all the very, very best, and I'll keep you in my thoughts and prayers. Keep up the great work, guys. Thank you.
All right, items D through F are noted. The board will meet in executive session post adjournment of tonight's meeting to discuss the matter involving the employment, termination of employment, terms and conditions of employment, evaluation of performance, promotion or discipline of a specific employee of the district. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved, unanimously.
Steve, you're second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say